Welcome to True to Blueprint. Yeah, these are getting harder to do. Not in general. Doug will be going to Chicago, and then it'll be a little easier for me to focus on the show and only the show. But I'm still trying to get better, as you can hear. But I am getting better. A lot of people like to tell me I don't know anything about hockey and I should have taken up another hobby when I was bored in middle age. So today we're going to talk about my love affair with hockey, which has gone on since practically I can remember. Mary made up the questions and I will answer them because, like I told her, if I wrote the questions then I would really look good. And, you know, there should be some, I should answer to people. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, little Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte, when you're done sticking your butt in the camera, we'll get started. Maybe we should get started and then she'll decide what she wants to do.
You know, once
she wants to be the interviewer, apparently.
Well, she is.
So, Dawn, tell us how your love of hockey began. Please don't bite me.
I'm not going to bite you, Mary. that's you know, I might bite you on a harder question. Her. Okay,
yes.
Yeah. Well, when I was little, my parents had tickets. I was born in 1956, so in the middle of the Red Wings, not in the middle of it, near the end of them winning a lot of Stanley Cups. Mm-hmm. And my parents, which young couples could do at the time, on one income while buying a house, they had season tickets. To me, that cracks me up. Like they must have known a wizard or something for that. And
tickets were quite reasonable back then.
Yeah,
I remember families going to see hockey games.
And I mean,
the 60s.
That's the thing, that they had these season tickets and they didn't really want to bring me because I was a kid, you know, kids run around and crap like that. So they would watch hockey at home and try to bring me into it. But then, you know, nighttime comes your bedtime, right? Sometimes I'd hear my mother going, oh, jeez, oh, no, please. And sometimes it would be coming from the bedroom where my parents were, trying to make a brother or sister for me desperately.
Because there were no TVs in the bedrooms
at
that
No
time.
TVs in the bedrooms. Or I would peek out the door, and my mom would be sitting on the couch, and this would be her reaction to a hockey game. Now, either way, I wasn't sure she
So did that pique your interest?
Well, it made me curious, because I wondered what on earth could bring this reaction out of a person who was oftentimes a little bit down. Phyllis is very blue in those days because she got left at home with a kid and my dad worked all the time. Usual story. But then she would just light up during this hockey. And my dad loved it too. His friends from work, they all would go. And
was your mom more interested in hockey than your dad?
As it turns out, who knew, right?
Okay.
Who knew? But honestly, I believe she was. I believe my dad was interested in my mom.
Right, so if it made her happy, it made him happy.
Exactly, and so they
and they had that kind of relationship the whole time that I knew them. Your dad was very devoted to Phyllis.
Oh my goodness. You grow up with someone saying, there's only one thing you need to do to make me proud of you. Make your mother happy. Mm. But that's easy, if it's easy to make your mother happy. Mm. Not my mom.
Right.
As you know, not easy to make happy.
Right.
So, Dad, you could have said the only way you make me happy is to run a mile every morning. And I probably would have had better luck with that.
Well, I didn't realize that she might have had some underlying depression.
Well, that's true, yeah. I mean, I think it was like the whole thing of, and it's part of why I think that it was tough for her with me, was that she could see I wasn't going to care about any of that crap. I was like, this is what I want. I'm going to be a movie star. I was like Gilda Radner. I'd have my TV show in my room. But that was always around hockey, because that was the thing I thought I understood the best. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think much has changed, although I try not to go, it's the Dawn Show! I say, welcome to True to Blueprint.
Let's talk a little bit more about your family. What is your family connection to Canada?
Okay, the Italian side, my mom's people, all of them Italian. They're very good at keeping that going.
They're good at remaining Italian?
They're good at marrying Italians as long as they stay in an Italian environment.
Oh.
The problems get when they get out in the world and see marrying an Italian might not be the only choice, you know. My family, through my mom, were people who had gone to Canada, Mostly people who were in grocery and restaurants, really fine, strong
So from
Italian
Italy,
folk.
they
Right.
relocated.
And became like huge hockey fans.
Mm.
That's something I didn't put together either about my mom's fandom. But my grandma, my nana, she'd just be crazy about hockey, and everybody, they had been Maple Leaf fan. Excuse me? Excuse me.
So it's almost like it is a mitigating circumstance that you would be exposed to this.
Oh yeah, mitigating.
Yeah. Why you are as you are
Oh,
now.
okay. I always think of mitigation as giving you less of an excuse to be, but I guess that does apply there, mitigation. I like that word. It's a good word.
Talk a little bit about your Saturday nights as a kid and how fortunate we are as Detroiters to be.
Yeah, it's hard for all those people out there who like to write, and you're American, so you can't know anything. Mm-hmm. Hockey Night in Canada comes to us in Detroit, and in the Detroit Metro. When we had 4 channels, one of them was CBC.
Yeah.
And we saw Hockey Night in Canada. The radio, an AM radio is going to go real far.
Yeah.
So I'd have like 20 channels that I could check the Maple Leafs game on, got to know all these areas. I even had a French Maple Leafs network, but I didn't learn to speak French. I just...
You did end up taking French classes for several
Yeah,
years
I
in school, though, didn't you?
Yeah, and I can read it fairly well. When I'm in Quebec, they always say I speak well, but I don't think I do. Not at all. I think I have trouble remembering most of the words that aren't the functional words. Like you remember the nouns, but you don't always remember the little words that make it up, and reflexives and all that crap. So, yeah, I'm sure my pronunciation's good. I'm a good faker.
So was it your parents doing stuff as far as going to games and stuff that gave you the opportunity to
meet the guys, like?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. See, they take me to my Nana's house. She lived not that far from Olympia Stadium, more east than that. Mm-hmm. But they would take me out to dinner at the Carl's Chop House, where the teams would often go and have pregame dinner. The Red Wings would be there all the time. And my mom, again, everybody loves Phyllis, she never, she'd see somebody like a hockey player, she'd go, "Excuse me, sit down."
And she just started a conversation.
Right, exactly. She never had any kind of problem with that. So, and
she saw them as another human being, not somebody.
Right, exactly.
Above her.
And she just got me to the point where these guys would think I was so cute. And I'd always say, "You guys aren't very good next to the Maple Leafs." And at the time, the Maple Leafs were not bad. Mm-hmm. They were sort of getting near the end of important, but they would, win another.
So how did the transition happen from you being a fan to you actually starting to be around the team and doing odd jobs for them?
Well, I think another thing people misunderstand about the Detroit area is how many hockey rinks there are. Mm-hmm. They're everywhere. And where there's a hockey rink, there's hockey players. Yeah, you figure skate there. A lot of people would know that. I didn't even know that. I thought you had to have a separate rink for that. Because I figure those people aren't as good as skaters. I mean, they have to do everything perfect or they fall down. Whereas hockey players all the time, one leg, and they don't fall down. So I knew they were better skaters, and I just started. These were places I could walk. The arena in St. Clair Shores is like one at each end of the street I lived on. Then in St. Clair Shores, in Warren, when we moved there was one, probably a quarter of a mile walking, and I would go there, and I just look for the people who were playing what I saw, knew from my talking to Gordie and Ted, all those guys, Alex and Sid Abel, all those guys, I'd know what good hockey was. So it would be like the highest level team, and I'd say, what can I do? And sometimes, what can I do, get you you can go away, you little snot-nosed kid. In fact, it gets you there 10 out of 11 times. But that 11th time, somebody says, if you're willing to gather all that up, wipe it all down, tape it together, and get it ready to move,
have at it.
Right, and I would do it. I would do laundry. I would do anything. I would,
So
And-
you're underfoot. Let's
Right.
put her to work. Let's
Right,
give her something to
exactly.
do so she's not.
So
So
then,
she's more useful.
so then when they needed something done, they'd just be like, "Where's that Dawn? Where's that Dawn girl?"
So they started looking for you.
Right. And then, you know, when the Howe kids got to be junior age, Gordie started to encourage people to take me to Olympia. And then that's like one of the first places I drove when I got my driver's license. I think I drove there on a permit. It's hard to remember. It's a very long time ago. Very long time ago. You forget how long life is.
Well, before we started today's video, we talked a little bit about how female fans have a disadvantage if they want to actually work in the industry.
Well, I'd say now you almost have an advantage because the whole thing
Right,
of
but back then, we're talking
Oh,
about
man.
when you got your first paying job, how old were you and what year was it thereabouts?
I had to get a work permit, so I must have been 15.
Under 16.
Yeah, I was 14 or 15, yeah. And I wasn't making a ton of money, but I had spent the last 3 years proving to them that there was this love I have of this game, this passion for it. And
Do you
that
remember
used
the first thing that you did that you got paid for? Was it hourly or were you getting paid to
Oh, I got paid
broadcast?
hourly to clean a dressing room that hadn't been cleaned in probably 10 years. I mean, this thing was like dripping with mold. And they paid me hourly. I think at the time it was like $6 an hour, which back in
That's good
1971,
money.
that was awesome money. And it smelled in there. It was so bad. But I did. I went through it. It took me 3 days of 10-hour days just scrubbing and scrubbing. Got all the grout clean. Got everything, vacuumed it up. You know, even did some sewing on some of the chair covers and stuff. Because they used to just be folding chairs with hooks behind them. Now, some places still had these 10 years ago kind of dressing rooms. So, you know, and my mom was so mad at me for that job. And I said, why? You were in a men's locker room. Remember, we grew up thinking secret things went on behind that door that said men. If men only were in there, we should not be in there. We should, our delicate sensitivities. And so it was very hard for me to convince my family even. But I think they became convinced by the fact that I just, like I do now, when I'm right, I'm right. And I was right. I knew I was right. And I wasn't yet to that part of life where you have other things you're wanting that make you confused about it.
So hanging around hockey teams, doing things that nobody else wanted to do, gave you an opportunity to show that you could be indispensable?
Well, pretty much. And it also got me in for free as I got into, you know, the tier 2 and tier 1 juniors, into major juniors. There's, you know, I got people wanted me around. They totally wanted me around. And it started to be like, well, you know, and Gordie, he couldn't say enough nice things about me. Gosh, I miss Gordie.
Tell us about how Gordie took you under his wing.
I'm not sure if it's because Mark and I are like a day apart. Mark's born on December 5th, so he had a kid exactly my age.
Well, Gordie was a good mentor. He probably saw something in you.
Well, what he says, you've got a quick mind. You notice what you see, and you don't listen for what other people think that should be. You say what's on your mind. Something my mother used to be horrified by. But it was something I did, you know. If you gave me something and said, you like that, if it was salty, I'd tell you, you know, that my mother would be, you know, don't say that. Well, then don't ask me, okay? But that was the thing Gordie liked the most about me. That, and I could separate the man he was on the ice from the guy he was really. And there was a part of Gordie that seemed very mean and cruel, but I would call that more natural Gordie. That was Gordie looking out for himself in the most, you know, primal way. And he also saw that I did that as he watched me get a little older, 12 and 13, you know, boys are saying things to me and whatnot, and I'm saying stuff back. I'm not taking it from anybody. I never believed that I could somehow be less than them if I continued to do my very best. And to this day, I still believe that. And I believe nobody needs to defend me. I'll kick your butt if you want. You know, we've covered that.
Was Gordie involved with helping you do the broadcasting?
No. By that time, he had gone Well, he had just retired again and was focusing on some restaurants in Traverse City and stuff. And they had a really nice house out there.
So tell us how the broadcasting developed.
Well, I had, this the other foot I had that was stuck in music. Not stuck, I liked it there. In rock and roll, I was a radio DJ. So then,
In high school?
yeah,
At your high school?
at my high school,
Her high school
had a public, station.
public radio station. How awesome is that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It still does. WPHS 91.5. If you're in and around Warren, tune it in. You can hear it. And I learned a lot about broadcasting there. And I was sick of hearing tape delayed games. This is probably something you nowadays wouldn't even understand, but it used to be a minor team, like a junior team for a city, even at the best team they had.
Well, and the technology was
Right.
you would tape it and then play it
Play it
later.
back, right.
That was the best the technology could offer for the time.
So I had stumbled into some guys who had this thing called the Marty, a mobile radio transmitter that was like 30-pound box with a little curlicue, because all the radio antennas are curlicues, and microphone cables, all of it, everything. I had to do PSAs, public service announcement. I had to do all this because that's going to be on the air. So I had to cover everything that you cover on the air. When I first started doing this, I went to little rinks like in Windsor. And, we used to do it.
You convinced the guys to let you take this
Oh,
machine,
yeah.
right?
Yes, I did. They kept saying, you got to get a third-class license with an endorsement for radio transmitting. I kept taking the test and getting like a chance to take it again. It had some stupid multiplication of fractions on it, and I just
remember having to
"That's
take it when I went to
That's
Specs
it."
Howard.
Yeah, I can't do that damn test, but
Yeah.
as long as I kept trying, they kept letting me take it. So I got to see all these cool broadcast booths, like the Gondola and Maple Leaf Garden, being way up there where you're just, this is like how you are.
Right.
Hockey games
You're
right
a vulture.
here. It's so ridiculous. And then I kind of got a home at Olympia doing it. They had dealt with me enough through my work with the junior team, the Junior Red Wings, that they had no real problem with me being there anytime I wanted.
So you just said, is it okay if I show up and I do this broadcast and then I play it later on my high school?
Oh, no,
radio?
this was live.
Okay.
And I carried the equipment up the 125-step escalator.
You were your whole production team.
Yes, I was. And if I didn't work officially for the Junior Wings, which I didn't at that particular year,
And you were how old?
17,
Okay.
16, maybe, in that area. And any jobs I did for the Junior Wings were like, we'll pay you this much money to do this. That's
Right, like per diem.
So, right, exactly. So I carry this stuff up there, 125 steps on a still escalator. An escalator I used to have a key to. But once I didn't have that job anymore, I didn't have that key anymore. And the escalator stands still. So what do? Climb
Walk.
it.
It's a stair.
That's
Now it
what
becomes
you
a
do.
staircase.
And then there's more stairs after that. You used to have to walk around the top where the concessions were, then behind to go up to the press box. And just like with the gondola, you came forward from the press box into these radio boxes. I'm up there walking on these girders, which now I think of as so stupid, with all this radio equipment hanging from me and everything. But I get it set
If you
up.
had misstepped, you could have hung yourself.
Yeah, I could have. Hey, if I'd have died up there.
Because once
I'd
you
take
start
a
going
mix-
down those steep steps,
Oh,
man.
No, and I just did this every chance I got. It wasn't always easy. I mean, and a lot of times I would bail and just go to Windsor, go to Chatham, and the Junior Wings were happy to take me with them. They didn't really want this equipment there because it was expensive, but then I told them it was my own, because why not?
Mid-white lie.
Means to an end. Means to an end. No, it was what I loved. I couldn't imagine my life not being
Well,
hockey.
and when I understand you making that statement and feeling like I'm responsible for this equipment. It's my equipment while
That's
I've
right.
got it.
Right. And that's how I
Because we
felt.
did a lot of stuff for
Oh my God.
channels where we had to check out pretty expensive cameras.
So, yeah. And
And you had to act like it was your baby while you had it.
well, if you treated your baby by getting real drunk before you start, being real drunk.
Well,
the whole
let's
time
say
you
not
work.
dropping a $40,000 baby.
Yeah, don't drop
kind of
that
thing.
40 grand baby.
Doesn't matter how much you drink, just make sure you don't drop it.
Well, and if you have one job, you
Do
should be able
not
to do
drop
it.
the camera.
Right. So by that time, I'm so madly in love with hockey. Honestly, I'm thinking hockey will continue to find me things because it always enveloped me. The great players in the game I knew, the great coaches in the game I knew, that sat and talked to me, just sat and talked to me.
So this is more about your hockey education and
Right.
gaining expertise. And you also, I think, want to mention that Gordie continued to.
Every time I'd see him, he'd slap his hand up against the wall and go, and I knew where the goal was. It was his wrist. He had a little chunky bone. He had the scariest looking wrists because they were people smacking him all the time. And he'd say, that was the goal, was the wrist bone. And he'd say, defender, defender, offense, offense. What just happened? What's going to happen? And I'd say, where's the puck? I only did that like 3 times when he said, stop worrying about the puck. The puck doesn't have a plan. We need to talk about the people who are going to make the puck move. And he would just go through this with me. I didn't know
So
that.
an early version of take your eye off the puck.
Well, and I think he was looking for maybe I could work at the hockey school, which I later did, but he was making sure that it wasn't just like I listened to the right announcers. Nowadays I have people who say, yeah, well, I listen to this guy, and so I'm right. Well, if that guy's wrong, then you're wrong, okay? I don't know how to deal with it. It was important for Gordie to hear even my disagreements. And I'd say, I don't think that's what Dawn, he's Gordie Howe. And I'm going,
You're debating him.
no, Gordie, that's not true. And because my eyes wouldn't let me down. You just always say, you're such a little tough cookie. Such a tough cookie. Yeah, I never really felt like a tough cookie. I felt like you're in combat all the time when you're running in a direction the other women aren't running.
What year was this?
Which?
That where you're talking about continuing education with Gordie.
Oh, in the early 70s.
Okay, because we're going to jump ahead to the 1980 gold medal.
Well,
the Olympics.
Yeah, we're not really jumping ahead because those guys were in these developmental systems. I have been working in many of them.
Okay, so tell us about your involvement with the Miracle on Ice.
With the Miracle on Ice was the junior program. They had college programs, obviously, in the United States, draw kids from. The thing is that even then, junior hockey was just a little bit better. Just a little faster, a little bit crisper, and a lot rougher, which internationally didn't matter. But I was really good at evaluating how a player would perform in certain circumstances. And I was also very good with the sports psychology. So I can't remember, it wasn't Herb Brooks himself. It was someone on that staff asked me to do who I thought in the Michigan area would really be a good addition.
So they asked you to do a little analysis?
Yeah. And I wrote it to Ken Morrow. He was so important to me. And I mean, I haven't even thought about that team in a long time, but these were guys, if they played in Michigan at all, I got to know them, I followed them around, I watched what they could do, I did my report on them, and, you know, a few of them made that team. It was wonderful. No, you get a gold medal.
So was this person that asked you to do that, was he one of the people that was involved with picking the players?
Well, yeah, I mean, there was the U.S. hockey. I'm not sure what it was called at the time, but see, after Mark Howe, who was a good friend of mine, he went to Sapporo, Japan in 1972, I believe, and they won a silver medal, that team. So that was a team very loaded with Junior Red Wings, okay? Because that was like the best team in the whole region. Nobody had seen it, even though the Junior Wings next to their OHA, now OHL and Southern Ontario counterparts were not that good. But for an American team, they were really high level. And so, you know, that's how I got involved in that. I wasn't that interested in Olympic hockey, but, you know, when you're young, rah, rah, rah. We were, you know where we were? We were at, I believe it was Shields, downtown, not downtown, but like 6 Mile.
Mm-hmm.
You and I were sitting in Shields when that game was played, the Miracle on Ice game. Do you remember
I
it?
don't remember it.
And I just, when I party, I'm devoted to partying. But this particular day, I just remember thinking, I wish I could just sit and watch this game in quiet, And no, I was having a great time with Mare, but it's still, I'll never forget. And I mean, I was so excited for them. It was brilliant. It really was.
So that was in 1980, so around that same time. So how old were you in 1980?
Oh,
Early 20s?
I'm 23 going on 24.
So you started to get pressured to quit being a tomboy and embrace a life as a female. Can you
Yeah. Well,
address
that's the
that a
whole
little bit?
thing. That's the whole thing. They're so bizarre. To this day, Annette Marshall, my mom's and dad's dear friend, I meet up with her. I say, this is like 5 years ago, I'm going to get involved in hockey again. She's like, yeah, I never thought that was a good place for a girl.
Okay.
This is, not in this century, okay? Back then, in the late 70s.
In this century, you're still getting that you're a girl and you never played, so you couldn't possibly understand hockey.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really gone away.
Except I'm always right. It always turns out I'm right. So how does that happen? That's so frustrating too, because I don't think people use their eyes. But yeah, it's so much pressure, and then there's no book about how to move your life forward as a female in a non-traditional path.
Right.
So I just, I had these wild and crazy love affairs, mostly musicians and artists and stuff, not hockey players. As ALYSSA and I were talking, I didn't date hockey players. I would have dated goalies. She would date goalies too. We're not advertising for goalies to date us. But maybe she is. She's a really nice girl. I'm way too old for that, and plus Doug would probably be a little upset. So I'm not dating anybody because I'm married. And when you're married, they ask you not to date.
Okay, so did you buy into the idea that you needed to let go of your ideas about having a career in hockey?
Yeah, actually, one of my boyfriends, a musician, a guy named Tony, I think you know him, he was very intimidating. I mean, at first these guys love that you love hockey, and then they cool off because you won't play second fiddle to their hockey understanding. And it's not like I'm going, everyone don't listen to Tony, listen to me. It's just that he could hear that my attachment to hockey, then I try to take myself away from it and just be a bimbo.
Let me interject here. Know that both of these people are highly intelligent people.
Oh, yeah.
And I also believe that you were both very competitive.
Oh, yeah.
And that played into it.
Well, that's the thing. When you grow up believing that hockey is the metaphor of life, you kind of become way too competitive, and you need a place to put that, whereas players have, or coaches, they have a place to put it. I didn't really have a place to put it, so I put it in my dating life, right where it doesn't belong. So, it didn't get easily settled. That whole thing did not get easily settled. But I had to do it because, and I found myself that guys would say, if you're going to continue to care so much about that hockey team, you have to make choices. And when the people around you keep saying, Dawn, you're getting old, you got to get married, you got to have a baby, you think there's more
that was very
pressure.
much an expectation of our
Yeah,
time.
it was huge. I don't think women now who want to complain about stupid crap realize how hard that was. That if you had money and you met a guy and you were in love with him, you gave him control of your money. This is nuts. Okay? If he wants to grab my ass, go ahead. But you don't take my money. Okay? And that's, to me, we give up so much at the start when we forget what the real struggle is. For me, it's always just been, I didn't want to be a guy, but I kind of had to invent this guy. And so that I could, when people would give me nothing but crap. Like Joe Falls, the writer in Detroit, he's like, you must have great parents to take you to a hockey game in Toronto. I went myself, okay? And the second thing is, my name's not David. Why? I'd write these letters. I have good handwriting. You know that.
So you would create You created,
So I
a
created
guy
Davy.
that was your alter ego.
Yeah, I created Davy. He became a perfect hockey player who also thought I was fabulous, and he never backed down to a challenge in life. Davy Lannon is my dream of what hockey players should be.
So that's where the creation of Davy was a character in one of the books that you wrote, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a character in both books. You never read Tier 2, but that was really bad. You write a book in high school, let me tell you. You got to be pretty something, and I'm not that good at that. I'm great at talking, but I don't write. I start writing, and all those little places I do ... and stop and qualify. All those get in
I've
there.
edited her writing.
Oh my
I know
God,
exactly
it's like a
what you're
crazy
talking
person.
about.
My brother said, I hope these are just notes. Otherwise, I'm seriously concerned that you're schizophrenic. So, and that's how it is for me. And when I talk, I don't know, people seem to like it when I talk. Not in this voice, I'll tell you what.
What were the hockey novels about?
Well, the hockey novels were generally about trying to get on with your life because that's what I was seeing. I'd see these junior hockey players with my friends riding in cars with boys type thing, you know, go out, drink beer. There were rumors we smoked marijuana. Maybe.
If you don't have it on tape, it didn't happen.
No, and, you know, we talk about hockey and all this stuff, but it just, I mean, they were in this struggle all the time of trying to become, the world was changing. Video was about to kill the radio star, okay? Everybody was going to be on TV, and the world would know your business. And they had problems, as young people do. And so most, you know, my books were about that. The first book was more about a true insecurity on the part of one of Davy's teammates, Never Davy, where he had to make decisions for this person and tried to cover that up. And then a bunch of hockey ensued, and then more covering up. The second one, well, that book was just plain porn. That, I can't even believe I wrote that book. I'm sitting there reading it, and I can feel I'm blushing. I'm like, you wrote that? But I just had a baby. How do you know it's not what happened? Yeah, I think it was hormones. But the struggle was that Davy had overcome a horrible background.
Oh, you're jumping ahead, though,
Okay.
about having a baby. What did you do on your honeymoon?
I didn't jump ahead. I had a baby at 35. That ain't
No,
jumping
you
ahead.
jumped
Oh,
ahead
okay.
for what we want to talk about.
Oh, the honeymoon thing.
So when you got married, you went on an unusual honeymoon.
Well, first of all, it was 5 years after we got married. That's a little unusual.
Yeah.
But it had to be perfect. And we went on a hockey tour. The Great Arena Hockey Tour. The first one we signed up for in '94 was the Calgary Stampede, and go out west and party, out on, you know, sing another prairie song. But then we had a work stoppage in hockey. We got very paranoid because we had already paid quite a bit of money because this was going to be best hotels, best everything except our bus, which was bizarre, but anyway. And we got to see, they gave us this other tour, to tour
So what, there was a hockey...
the Forum in Montreal and Ottawa and Maple Leaf
So
Garden.
there was a work stoppage, so they offered you
When they
something
came
else
back.
to you and then okay.
Right. When they came back, they said, you can pick between these two tours. And one of them was to go see all these old arenas before they weren't used anymore.
That would be really cool.
It was so cool. We got to go in there during the day. Yeah, I'd been to the Forum and Maple Leaf Garden, but I had, and Madison Square Garden.
Did you
I was
actually
there
get
with
to
Zeppelin.
tour the back?
Oh my gosh, we got to go in the dressing rooms, the visitors, and the away dressing rooms. We got to walk out on the ice. It was so cool. It was incredibly cool. Then we go to a game that night at that place. Then we go to fancy
So you
hotel.
have two really nice perspectives.
Yeah, we went to Ottawa, Montreal, Maple Leaf Garden. We should have gone to the Odd in Buffalo because we were in upstate New York long enough to have like built a whole nother arena. We went to the Penguins, which is where me and Natalie hit it off so well. Me and Natalie Lemieux.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just
If you wanna- Do you remember the name of that show that we did where you talked about that briefly?
Oh, I don't. But that's, I'm trying to let
Maybe you
bygones
can look
be
at you
bygones.
can look that up and put it
Put it
underneath.
in the detail?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible. So, yeah, we went, and then we went to Madison Square Garden, which I'd never been to a hockey game there. I'd been to Zepp because, stuck with Zepp.
So what becomes of
The broken
hockey
Oh.
after you get married? There was that
Yeah. Okay.
time, the honeymoon.
Right. And
The honeymoon is something that you usually only do once,
that's true.
right? So how did life take over after you got married?
You just get busy with stuff. You buy a house, the house burns down. You have a kid, the kid has problems. You have problems, your husband. Everything starts to take over. I was still following the sport. But again, I have Scotty Bowman coming to Detroit to make the Detroit Red Wings champions. This is only a little bit exciting for me because I'm the one telling these Red Wing fans, never, you will never be the Maple Leafs. I hope to say that again before I die. But I really I couldn't hang on to it the way I wanted. I still watched it, and ultimately, after we traveled around the whole country forever, I said to
Well, you
Doug,
say forever, but how long do you think that actually lasted?
10 years living in hotel rooms.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the tour again.
Oh,
but now
no,
you're
the tour is
talking
10
about
days.
something different.
Right,
You're talking
right.
about
How
your
life
husband
took over,
being
yeah.
an IT person and you having to travel with him for different jobs.
Right, and for the first time realizing hockey means zero to anybody in the United States in a city that doesn't have a team. I mean, honestly, in Eugene, they didn't even play the games live on TV. Those were tape delayed, welcome to 1970. And I was in Little Rock, Oklahoma City, hockey capitals of the world, don't you know? Even when I was in Chicago. And when I was in Chicago, I started to get bummed because Chicago won those Stanley Cups while I was there. Okay. Whatever it's called, I don't like it. I want it to stop. But I realized I missed Hockey Night in Canada so bad I had to come back here. And that's what I told Doc. I said, we got to move back to Michigan. I can't live this far from Hockey Night anymore. And when I discovered what the Maple Leafs were up to, it all seemed like kismet. Whatever that means. Luck. Good luck.
How long ago did you move back to Michigan?
2015. I was here for a while in 2013, but we moved back in the fall.
You moved back with the intention of staying in Michigan.
Right. I wasn't leaving again.
About 4 years ago.
It kind of put my husband on notice, I mean, seriously, I don't have that much life, and I got a whole lot more hockey I want to see and be part of. And I felt like no matter where you need to go, I'm going to be here because this is where I need to be. And now I'm feeling like I need to be even closer to Toronto, but
Right.
That's not going to be as easy, but at least while I'm here I still have parts of that culture come back to me, and it's really important to me.
So the idea of moving back to Michigan was really the beginning of the seed being planted that you're going to end up doing something with this again.
Yeah, I have to. I can't. I see what's going on. I see that people argue points today, and I'm sorry, Alyssa, I hope I wasn't rude. They were rude to me, but maybe I said too much. But I see
on
that
Twitter or Facebook.
No, this is
or
on YouTube. Her
Okay.
latest video with Connor McDavid and the press. And I just sit there, and it's painful for me to watch him. He doesn't understand. What do you want him to say? He's not a leader. He's not naturally. Mitch, they'll ask Mitch, why are you so ugly and made 25 mistakes? Well, obviously, like I said, I wasn't really my best tonight. Hope to be real smooth, right?
Right.
This guy's the captain. On top of, and I say, don't make him the captain. I like Connor McDavid as a person. He's growing on me a lot. You watch 1,300 hours of someone on film trying to prove he's a complete hockey player and getting nowhere. But these other fans, the way they talk, like they don't watch the game. If I'd have showed up at 10 years old and gave some of the answers they gave to Gordie Howe, It elbowed me into death. And my parents were saying, bravo, you know, we don't need that one. She didn't know hockey. I can't understand. I say he doesn't back check or forecheck. Explain to me what he's doing with that time. They come back with, Bob McKenzie says he's great. What has that got to do with it? So hockey sort of drafts me in with this, my perception, my love of it, my passion for it. I mean, there is nothing in the world I feel this way about. It just keeps demanding that I come back. Especially with Shanahan going, we gotta educate that fan base. That fan base is really sick.
I remember you talking about the True to Blueprint YouTube channel and what he was saying in the pieces that they would put on the channel and how that really drew you in.
Yeah.
Because you are also interested in educating people who
it's not hard.
Sadly and horribly need to be educated.
It's hockey.
Every time you open your mouth on a subject, you tell people something about yourself.
Oh.
And often you're telling people that you don't know what you're talking about.
And if you're somebody like me who cares so much about this sport and about people, because it's like my hobby is people. I know all about people. That's what actresses do. They go study people because you might have to play them someday and you want to understand them. I don't understand how you can speak so authoritatively based on absolutely nothing. And I become very worried for the sport. They're going to expand. They're going to have another team in Seattle. But they aren't going to have any more fans who really understand. When we were kids, Peter Puck came on. The intermission at Hockey Night Canada gave us a hockey lesson. Howie Meeker gave us lessons. Harry Neal gave us hockey lessons. We got hockey lessons from Danny Galvin, from Foster Hewitt. They explained what they were seeing. And you can see it too. TV doesn't keep you from seeing everything. No, it narrows your focus to what is happening with the puck. However, you can still see how things develop if you pay attention. If you see this hockey makes sense, then nobody is so great that they just are bigger than the game. That's not possible. It's like I say, you throw a celebration after 5 of you score and 1 of you gets to do the dance. What are you, American Idol? I mean, or Canadian, whichever kind of idol. I don't get it. And to me, people got freaked out by this whole Swedish hockey and Russian hockey. These are not different types of hockey. They're hockey. Idea, get puck, put puck in other person's net. So it's a matter of how you go about it. And it does take some time. But when I say you got to study a little, I don't mean 50 hours a week.
So part of your intention with the True to Blueprint channel
has always been, yeah, to give
education.
And I felt like people don't really know what my history is, so why would they even think I know anything? But I've had this really profound, I've had, you want to do a resume thing, that's not fun. Those don't even describe what you do. I mean, the fact is, when hockey teams all across the region know they get you can do whatever they ask you to do. That's pretty impressive. And I liked having that position.
And if you're watching the video and you have more questions, by all means, ask questions.
Please ask questions. Look, we're on a winning streak right now, so I focused on this. I'll probably put it out in 2 parts, and then when I come back, I'll be well again, and I won't talk like I'm in a permanent version of, what do they call it, 4 seasons? Don't go away, please go away, baby, don't cry. All right, you can shut up. Oh, right, the whole part about the tagline. I'll be back, I promise. You don't.